Hello. I am absolutely stacked in my signature details, but stuff keeps happening. So what's up? It turns out that trans rights remain human rights. A US judge has temporarily blocked a fascistic anti-trans bill in Florida that would completely ban trans minors from getting healthcare. Again, I call it healthcare because virtually all leading medical science says that it's supportive of a healthy life. If you do not have a degree in pediatric psychiatry, I am not interested in your take as to why children should not have access to this healthcare. Anyway, this bill that was signed into law by Ron DeSantis in Florida was struck down by the judge who said basically, this is a fucking stupid bill. It was deemed unconstitutional, and the judge was like, what are you doing? Literally all evidence points to this being stupid. Get this shit off my desk. Happy Pride Month. Block that puberty. All right, I'm getting a little too hyped. It turns out the war in Ukraine is complicated. I don't have an intro for this. A dam in Ukraine has crumbled and is now flooding many villages downstream of the dam. Ukraine says that Russia blew up the dam. Russia says that Ukraine is doing sabotage, but both of them stand to lose from this. Sort of. I mean, Ukraine obviously is losing much more, but the downstream villages are in territory held by both Ukraine and Russia, and all of which are in Ukraine's sovereign borders. Whoa! Meanwhile, all the people in those villages have just had their lives destroyed. There's no jokes, sorry. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna drop a real hot take. You ready for this one? Fuck Putin. Damn, really went off the rails on that one. Consider the following. You're a city councilman. Everyone in your city has been protesting a potential project for years. You just sat in like 12 hours of testimony from local citizens saying, hey, I hate this project, don't fund it. And then you vote to give this project $30 million. That is what's happening in Atlanta, as the city council has voted 11-4 in favor of giving $30 million to the proposed Cop City project, leveling a forest to build a massive training facility to teach cops to have better urban warfare techniques. Instead of, having a forest where people can go be in the woods and nature, we just don't have realistic enough simulations of oppressing black people. This project has been heavily protested by locals, and they've already murdered several protesters, claiming that they were being violent. And it turns out the protesters were just kind of chilling and got shot dozens of times. But hey, maybe it has something to do with the fact that there have been years of protest against this, and they haven't been heard. The actual locals, the people whose lives will be impacted by this. A spy has died. Robert Hansen was in the FBI when it turns out that he was actually a double agent for Russia. He was caught and put into jail, and he is considered one of the most destructive spies in US history. This absolute lad put his entire life on the line and risked treason charges for like a little over $1 million. Like literally, he sold all these documents and whatnot to Russia for like $1 million. Like that's not risk my life for treason money. I'll take $1 million. I'm not saying I wouldn't take $1 million. If you've got $1 million you want to give it to me, I'll take it. I don't think I'm going to do treason for it. Bump it up. On this day in 1692, Port Royal, Jamaica just kind of sank. They were hit with a massive earthquake that killed 2,000 people during the quake and another 3,000 from the ensuing damage and tsunami. 33 anchors of this port town sank underwater during the earthquake. Afterwards, they had to literally redraw the maps. Only the tops of buildings were visible, and everything up to like the second story of buildings was just completely flooded. My advice to you is to not be in Port Royal in 1692. Lightning round. A street fight broke out in Glendale, California after protesters were upset about the school board simply recognizing Pride Month. The school board noted that many of the protesters didn't even have children in that school district. Notably, recognizing Pride Month has been standard operating procedure for at least 5 years. A large group of communities on Reddit will be going dark June 12th to June 14th to protest Reddit's changes to the API, which will completely kill third-party apps. Netflix is making a Queen's Gambit game. It's a chess game, but Queen's Gambit. It's Instagram's turn to roll out an AI chatbot, as rumors are swirling that they're working on one. The Human Rights Campaign has declared a state of emergency for queer people in the US, I'm just going to gesture broadly. Microsoft has been hit with a $20 million fine for mishandling children's data. The SEC is suing Coinbase, the crypto company, for, guess. Just take a guess. It's financial crimes. And finally for today, Apple had WWDC, in which they announced a whole bunch of new stuff, including their $3,500 VR headset. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Stuff Keeps Happening. Head to stuffkeepshappening.online for sources, bonus content, and I need to get a list. I need to get a list of things to say here. My name is Endeavorance. I'll be back on Friday. Take care and be well.